Shalom everyone. This video is going to be a bit different. I've typed in extremism in Google. I went to Google Images, and it's not surprising that when you type in extremism, you get a lot of images of so-called Muslim extremism or Islamic jihadism. I believe this is a of some ISIS fighters. These are jihadists with a Quran. These are some refugees, I believe. There are some cases when they put non-Muslim extremism, as far as extremism can be linked to any, belief at all. This is also an extremism. This is right-wing racist extremism. Why am I showing you guys this? Is because, again, when we think of, it's the reason I'm doing it, when we think of extremism, we have certain images come up into us. This is, you see them making the Apollo's greed over here, and the concentration Greece, and the Nazis did the same. Here you have it, over here, or over here. Now, why am I showing you all of this? Just understand this. Extremism doesn't just show up one day. Okay, it develops over time. Sometimes in a very short time span. But the thing is, often people are not aware how extremism develops. Now, what do you see here? I typed in clones in Google Images, and this is what I got. What do you see here? Of course, this is not real. Okay, but what you hear is a replica of the same again. If you didn't pay close attention, you would think these are individual people, but they're just replicas. Here are some dolls that are replicas. That is from iRobot, I believe, some movie starring Will Smith. Well, you can it for yourself on Google Images. Why am I showing this? Is because there's nothing wrong with people wearing a uniform when they work somewhere. The uniform is just a sign that you are an employee of the corporation, so that people know whom to ask for help. Okay, so this is nothing against uniforms. The thing is, when people lose their individuality, that's where extremism rises. But you are a spirit being with a soul living in a body. And yes, you have the need and the urge to connect to other people. And especially when people are similar to you, you feel warm and affirmed by that. That's human, that's in our design, that's how we are wired. This human wiring, however, can be exploited for evil. How does that happen? Very shortly. If you have people who dress the same way, who talk the same way, who kind of think the same way, who react the same way, who also go to almost the same kind of problems, what do you get? You get a big social cohesion. But the social cohesion is only founded on quantity, not upon quality. And it can be that the people who are so similar that some of them hate each other's guts, but because you have this intense quantity, they feel affirmed, so they remain there. Okay? And there's another thing. When you lose your individuality, when you're only feeling as if you exist through the validation of the group, what happens there is that the group now has become your God. So in order for you to feel well and to be mentally stable, the group needs to be affirmed. So what's going to happen now? When there are tensions within the group, you are in crisis because the group is your identification. So what happens is, when the group decides to expel someone through violence, you will agree with it. At first, you may think this is not right, but because you're addicted to affirmation, you will get along. And the thing is, human beings, we crave affirmation. We don't crave affirmation from everyone. Okay? Whenever there's affirmation, it's very powerful. Listen, you can do something that's very wicked and very horrible and very damaging to someone else, but because there's a group affirming your action, you won't feel any guilt. And you may even go through your days without losing a night of sleep. At the same time, you can do something that's right and benevolent, but because people are annoyed by it, you can lose nights of sleep. Because you have this threat of being rejected. So this is also plays into groups. In a group, it's far likely that people will agree with atrocities than when they're not codependent upon a group. So, how to battle extremism? Well, the thing is, I'm not sure if the question is well phrased. It's not about battling extremism. It's to know how to prevent extremism. And extremism starts with imitating. There's nothing wrong with imitating because human beings imitate one another. But it goes way too far. It goes extremely too far when you are codependent upon the quantity of replicas around you. That's already, you're already into extremism when that happens. And it's twisted. When someone is codependent upon the validation of a group, there's no guess what kind of atrocity an individual is capable of committing towards people outside the group. Because for that individual, the group is all that exists. They see everything through the viewpoint of the group. So it's not surprising when you have people like that end up blowing up themselves, or they end up being hitmen to protect the wealthy people in the group. You see, and there's another thing, the human mind can acclimatize to things. So if you are in an environment where people like to scream a lot, after a while, even though you may be annoyed by it, it won't bother you anymore. You've acclimatized to it. When you're in an environment where everyone is very quiet all the time, you acclimatize to that. And you become very annoyed or you become upset when you hear too much sound or a sound wave that's higher than you're used to. And here's the danger. When people acclimatize to identify themselves through a group, it doesn't matter where. Everyone that does not resemble the group is seen as an enemy. So people become traumatized eventually by witnessing things that are not in line with the group. And because the whole codependency they have on the group itself is unhealthy. There's denial of emotional pain. And when you have denial of emotional pain, the emotional pain is not gone. So the emotional pain is only stored up, and then eventually will explode. Well, in some small groups, it explodes in this way. there arises tension within the group, and the tensions will escalate into physical violence, and the group is done away with. Or either the people are arrested, or people just decide we're not going to be a part of that anymore. Or what often happens with larger groups, they sacrifice some of their own members, or they target another group, or what they call society itself. Especially happening with those jihadist extremists. It's not about Muslims, and it's not even about Islam. It's about negativity that has grown, and the negativity now needs an outlet. So now the group sacrifices some of their scapegoats that they've chosen amongst them, and those scapegoats are now the ones that have to commit atrocities. And this is nothing new. This has happened throughout human history. Throughout human history, Nazi Germany was not the only example. Even today is happening in certain places. Now, why am I talking about this? It's because I'm noticing that this clone-like attitude, that's how I'm going to call it, a clone-like attitude, or let me say that, a clone mentality. This clone mentality seems to be rising in the music industry, in popular media, everywhere this is being promoted. And I'm not going into conspiracies here. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I want to keep it at facts and with truth. I just want you guys to be alert, okay? When you notice this mechanism, this clone mentality developing within a group or within the community where you're at, well, don't be afraid, don't fear, but just be alert. Things might escalate. Things might get ugly. And the thing is, often people don't pay attention to such stuff. It's only when cohesion happens and people are bleeding and dying that people begin to notice, hold on, something is wrong. Well, just remain alert, remain in prayer, and be blessed. Hold on. Yeah, be blessed.